All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today we're diving into a classic business mystery, a question that haunts every single successful company. How can doing everything right lead to catastrophic failure? We're going to find the answer in Clayton Christensen's incredible book, The Innovator's Dilemma.
It's this puzzle that's stumped leaders for decades. Think about it. How can a company that is absolutely on top of its game, listening to its customers, pouring money into the best technology, chasing profits like it's supposed to, somehow still end up on the scrap heap?
So, let's kick things off with a classic case you probably know, Sears Roebuck.
Back in the 1960s, Sears was an absolute titan. Check out this quote from Fortune magazine. They were seen as this perfectly managed machine where everyone just did the right thing. It was effortless.
But here's the kicker. At the exact moment they were being showered with praise, Sears was completely ignoring the rise of discount retailers, the very force that would in the end bring them to their knees. And this isn't a one-off story. It's a pattern, a predictable tragedy that's played out over and over again.
Just think about the computer industry. IBM perfected the mainframe, right? But they were totally blindsided by mini-computers. Then, Digital Equipment Corporation, DEC, they were the kings of the mini-computer, but they completely missed the boat on the personal computer. Even Apple, a PC pioneer, was years late to the portable computer game. Each one was a leader, and each one was toppled by the next big thing they dismissed.
So this brings us to this great paradox of success. Were all these brilliant companies just unlucky? Or is there something about being a well-run, successful company that actually sows the seeds of its own destruction?
Okay, so the first clue to cracking this case is understanding that not all innovation is created equal. There are two fundamentally different kinds, and you have to know which is which.
This is Christensen's big insight. He splits technology into two buckets. On one side, you have sustaining innovation. This is what big companies are amazing at, making good products even better for their best customers. Faster chips, better screens, more features. But on the other side, you have disruptive innovation. And this is the tricky one, because at first glance, it often looks kind of crummy. It performs worse than what's already out there.
Let's make this real with a classic example: excavators. The established companies made these massive, cable-operated shovels for big construction projects. The key metric was bucket size. Bigger was always better. Then along comes this new hydraulic technology. Its bucket size was way smaller, objectively inferior, but look at the mobility. It was mounted on a truck, not stuck on rails. The big guys laughed at it, which allowed a bunch of new companies to swoop in and serve an entirely new market of small contractors who didn't care about huge bucket sizes, but desperately needed something that could move around.
So that leads us to the motive, right? If these disruptive technologies eventually get better and take over the world, why on earth don't the big, smart companies just invest in them? Well, the culprit is the very thing that makes them successful: good management.
The problem is baked right into their DNA. Great companies are designed, from the ground up, to listen to their most important, highest-paying customers. And what do those customers ask for? They don't ask for some weird new thing. They ask for the product they already have, but faster, more powerful, and a little bit cheaper. In other words, they only ask for sustaining improvements.
So let's play this out. Imagine you're a middle manager at one of these big, successful companies. Your job, your bonus, your next promotion, it all depends on picking winning projects. So, which horse do you bet on?
On one hand, you get a pitch for a sustaining technology. Your biggest customers are literally begging you for it. The projections look solid, and as you can see here, the profit margins are fantastic. It's a slam dunk. And then, on the other hand, someone comes to you with this disruptive idea. Who's the market? No one's really sure. Your best customers, they think it's a joke. And the margins, they're razor thin. It looks like a one-way ticket to failure.
So what do? It's a no-brainer, right? Any sane, rational manager, acting in the best interests of the company and their own career, makes the same call every single time. They fund the sustaining innovation. And that right there is the innovator's dilemma. The very principles of good management create a system that is perfectly designed to fail.
Okay, so if this whole system is a trap, how does a great company ever escape? How can you possibly push a disruptive technology through when your entire organization acts like an immune system designed to find and destroy it? Well, Christensen's research is crystal clear on this. You can't. You cannot force a disruptive idea through your main organization. It's like trying to grow a delicate wildflower in the middle of a giant, powerful machine. The corporate immune system is just too strong. It's designed to spot and kill exactly these kinds of projects. The only way to succeed is to create an autonomous organization, a separate entity, a spin-off that's protected from the mothership. It needs its own team whose careers depend on this project succeeding. It needs to be small enough that it can get genuinely excited about small wins and tiny margins that the parent company would laugh at.
And here's the really brilliant part. In this new independent bubble, all those powerful forces that were your enemy before, listening to customers, allocating resources to what they want, they suddenly become your greatest allies. Because now, the team's survival depends entirely on serving this new emerging customer base.
And this all leads us to the final, incredibly powerful insight. The reason that startups can so often come in and topple these giants isn't because they have more money or some secret piece of technology.
It's because the giant's greatest strength is also its Achilles heel. The logical, rational, profitable focus on their best customers becomes a set of blinders. It makes it practically impossible for these good managers to pursue the very innovations that are going to define the future.
So that leaves us with a final thought for today. As you look around, what's that emerging technology that's being dismissed as a toy or a niche product? And which industry giant is making the perfectly logical, perfectly rational, and perfectly dangerous decision to ignore it? Because history tells us that logical decision might be the one that seals their fate.